Hello guys, welcome to my unexpectedly new video. For those who are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Julia. For those who are not new, thank you so much for coming back, especially considering that it's been 8 months or so since the last time I've uploaded anything to this channel. I've been somewhat active on my Instagram account, so for those who are following me there, probably you are already know a little bit about what's been happening these 8 late months in my life. But for those who are not, I'm here to make a kind of life update, to talk about this last 8 months, what's been going on, what took me away from my YouTube channel. But first, I feel that I have to do a little story time just to build a background so that the story would make sense to you guys. I've been suffering from a quite serious form of depression and anxiety for almost 2 years now. So if we make simple maths, we will find out that everything started at the end of 2020, one of our absolute favorites of the century. Back then, we were quite in the middle of the pandemic still. Here in the country I live, we had quite huge restrictions. By then, we weren't allowed to travel through the country, which made me feel in the first place absolutely isolated, because my family lived on the other side of the country in that time, and also my significant other lived on the other side of the country. The story was quite difficult itself, so we weren't able to see each other a lot. Also, I lost a friend during the previous summer, not directly because of COVID. As far as I know, she is alive and healthy. But yeah, it was like the side effects of the old situation. Some relationships just didn't make it. And the sad part of the story is that she was my only support system physically in the city I live. All the rest of my people were away physically. The isolation was a huge problem for me. What was another trigger to the situation is the stress I suffered at work. At least I still had one, which didn't happen to a lot of people, and they, of course, had another kind of stress. But yeah, in my case, I had very tense relationship with my manager and with my manager's manager. Also, the teams were cut on people at the beginning of the pandemic, working in a very intense level, sometimes working too many hours. So yeah, that was another trigger. I immediately got in touch with my family doctor. It wasn't my first period of depression in life. So yeah, I started the medication. It was the same medication I took the previous time I had a depression. The previous time it worked absolutely well. I didn't have any side effects. It made its job. Sorry for the noise. I have a wild animal doing things back there. So yeah, it was starting to work for me. I was prescribed with a anti-anxiety medication, especially to make me be able to fall asleep, something that I had problems to. I wasn't sleeping well at all. So I was getting better with the medication this time, with both of them. But yeah, I had bad luck, and this time I had a bunch of side effects from the antidepressant medication. And the worst of them was a very severe form of insomnia, which is absolutely absurd, but this kind of things happen with medication. You are supposed to be needing to sleep well in order to get rid of that sickness. But one of the side effects of that medication is actually not letting you sleep. I got in touch with my family doctor again, and she said, okay, that's a pretty serious thing. We do not want that. So we will gonna change the medication. And for those who are not familiar with all the mental health medical stuff, antidepressant medication is not that something you can start taking or quit like overnight. When you start taking medication, you have to start with low doses and go rising it during like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. When you quit this kind of medication, you also have to go lowering the dose during some days. And when you change the medication, it's like the both processes at a time. You lower the first time, and when it's more or less at a low level, you start to take the second medication, but also at the low dose level, and you are increasing the second one, and there's a point in your treatment when you just stop taking the first medication. So it's a very delicate moment, because I wasn't quitting medication because I was okay. I was quitting because I was changing to another one. In that moment, 2 things happened. First of them, I had an unexpected, unplanned meeting with my manager and my manager's manager. Those 2 people, I had a very tense relationship. And the meeting was about them letting me know that I would take the responsibility of a new project, but without leaving any of my other responsibilities, which already was taken my full time. So I told them, hey girls, just slow a little bit. What are we talking about? Right now I'm absolutely unable to take any extra responsibilities. So the meeting went as hell. I never shut my mouth when I think I am being treated unfairly. We had pretty intense conversation, even a discussion. And when the meeting ended, I felt like, well, I had, I think, one of the massive anxiety attacks I have ever in my life. Due to the fact that I was absolutely isolated, I had nobody to turn to in this moment. Well, I could talk to my family, but I've been living away from them like for 15 years by then, and they weren't so in the detail of my day-to-day life. I just didn't feel okay to call them and to tell them, look, this is what happened. So I was absolutely insane, out of myself. I was feeling terribly bad. I didn't know what to do, so I stand up. I went to my family medicine care center, which was like 2 blocks away from my house. I asked for an emergency appointment, and the doctor that see me, he told me like, okay, you are going to the medical leave. It's unsustainable. Your situation is not for going back to work for some time. Also, during that time, this kind of things never come alone. It was around May or June of 2021. And just as a reminder, I was in the middle of the medication switch. I was on a medical leave because of my huge stress at work. Something else happened, And that something else was that my significant other, he decided suddenly that he wouldn't be able to be my significant other anymore. I won't go into much details because it's somebody else's privacy, not only mine, but just to say that it was something that I knew would be possible to happen, but I expected not to happen actually. The reason I expected it not to happen is that we talked a lot about the future together, serious talks. He talked a lot about the future, and it was, as I've said, serious conversations and serious plans. So it was something that crashed me, and I was already on a medical leave. So it was a very, very terrible moment in my life, so bad that it led me to another two things to happen. The first thing was that I decided to move. By that moment, we've been working for a year and a half, year and maybe a little bit less, remotely, full-time from home, due to pandemics. And in my industry, it's absolutely manageable. You do not have to be physically in presence of another people from your team or your clients. Everything can be managed by mail, by Zoom meeting, or whatever kind of communication. So, and in my company, they were allowing people to move permanently to their places of origin. The company approved the application for that full-time remote work in very normal basis. I also made that application. It was just right before, maybe like a couple of weeks before I had that terrible meeting with my managers, and I talked to my manager's manager about this topic, and she told me something like that. Oh yeah, oh, it's okay, we can manage it, it won't be any problems with that, so you make the application and don't you worry about anything. So I took the decision that I couldn't leave that isolated anymore. I didn't have my only support, physical support system in that city, which was my friend I lost the year before. I wasn't able to figure out how I would live without my significant other anymore. No matter how far from me he was living in that moment, but my whole future was taken away from me like overnight, and I decided to make a move and to move back after 15 years to the place my family lived, and I did it. The second thing that changed in that because of all the situation, it was I decided I needed more specific professional help with what was going on with me. I asked my brother for help because he knew a great psychiatrist. He accepted to treat me, although I was a family member of somebody he knew personally, but because two of us, we never met. He considered that there were no conflict of interests, and he accepted to treat me, and I thank God for that every day, because right now he is one of my support system. It's my doctor, yeah. I have no social life, I have no friends, I have my family, at least here, and it's a huge support right now for me to have my mom with me, although we're not that close. to be able to tell my brother if I have like a very terrible situation. And of course, when I moved, and when I had all that terrible medical leave situation, I talked to them and I told everything about my relationship. They didn't know about it anything. Very few people knew about it. It wasn't something that we made public due to some reasons. So finally I talked to them about it, so they were aware of the severity of the situation I was going through. So yeah, it was, as I said, around July of 2021, a year ago, a little bit more. So right now I've been on therapy for a year and a half. I was going with up and downs. I had to return to work when from my medical leave when I moved because of how the health system works here in my country. And when I was back to work, my manager's manager called me, just, oh, we're so glad you're back, how are you doing, blah blah blah. And I was like, well, I'm doing much better now that I'm much closer to my family. And she was like, what? And I was like, I moved. And she was, but your application wasn't approved. And I was like, well, it's the first news I have about it. So somebody didn't do its job in this company, because I wasn't even informed about the rejection of my application for the full remote working. So what's a shame? And she was like, yeah, but you moved without also without a yes. And I told, well, but you were so sure that there would be no problems with that, well, yes, I moved. I really trusted your opinion, your professional opinion, on the fact that my application would be admitted with no problems. And she was like, oh, we will have to talk to blah blah blah, the manager, somebody very important in my company. And I was like, okay, you just talk and then whatever will be. I'm here now, I'm not moving back. This is the situation. So if you talk and you go to any other conclusion which is not approving my um, full-time remote work, then we'll talk. And then that everything was said and told. But as I'm so a rebel person, my manager and my manager's manager, they didn't want me anymore, but they also couldn't fire me. So they decided I would change to another project. It was about September of 2021. It was more than a year now that I'm working that project. I was very encouraged with this change, although it was to move to technology I have no experience or knowledge in. But I knew that I was going to a team with especially two people that I knew very good for a lot of years by then. I knew their professional values and ethics were just like mine, and I knew I could learn a lot from them. So it was like, yeah, okay, let's make a change. That new project, it was quite stressful, and it got pretty terribly stressful this year, around April or so. We worked for a lot of hours. We worked for a lot of weekends in a row. it has had real terrible effects on my mental health. Oh, my battery died. So, as I was saying, one of the reasons that I've been absent from this YouTube channel was all the huge amount of the work during this year and all the negative impact it had on my mental health. The other reason I was out is that at the beginning of the year, around somewhere between January and February, I had some news from my now ex-significant other, and the news I had were very shocking. It was something that felt like a betrayal. Feeling even humiliated, I felt like I was ripped off my dignity, my humanity in some way, that my trust was absolutely betrayed. So, without any further explanation, I suddenly was sent back to a very, very, very dark place. So yeah, that moment was so bad, so terribly bad. I didn't know how to manage that situation because, again, I didn't have anyone to talk about it. The thing that I made was calling my psychiatrist that week. We already had our appointments. We had them on Mondays, and this was something that I found out at, I don't know, maybe on a Tuesday. I told him blah blah. I won't reveal his name. Let's say Peter. I told him, Peter, I'm in a terrible situation. Something happened. Something very terrible happened. I'm very, I feel very bad. It's very serious. I need help. I need to talk to you. I really need to talk to you. We found a moment the next day. I think it wasn't actually was his working hour. It was something that he does only for emergencies. He told me to go for the therapy session like at 8 p.m. It's very late for him to work, so I'm absolutely sure that he made it as an exception, and I'm really sorry. And I went there and I just threw up everything that I had inside, the whole situation, the terrible it was. And he was like, have you talked to anyone about this yet? And I was, no, you're the first person I'm talking about this to. And he said, okay, the first thing I have to tell you is that I have to congratulate you because of your capacity of asking for help when you need it, because right now you do need help. And it was something very special to me. It was really encouraging, and I think what I really needed in that moment was to talk to somebody about that. I need to take it out of my head. It was so terrible that I need to put it into words and to talk to somebody about it in order to maintain some sanity. So yes, it was a very terrible moment in my life. It was about February, well, beginning of, or maybe midst of February of this 2022. And this is the second reason, because I was away from everything I was doing with my channel till then, with yoga, with the treadmill, videos with any other stupid stuff like cooking Ukrainian borscht. I'm with my people. My heart will be with them. And I decided that that was the moment to make another very huge change. So the decision I took was something I was thinking about like for 2 years. It wasn't an impulsive decision. It wasn't like something I decided overnight. It was something that I thought a lot about, a lot. I researched a lot. I talked to myself whether it was the right decision or wrong for me, whether I would be able to do it, whether it would be too much responsibility or not. So I talked to Peter, to my doctor Peter, about my decision, about what the decision I was willing to make, and he absolutely 100% supported me. And the decision was, hello buddy, I don't know if you're in frame or not, but hello buddy, this one was my decision, my beautiful puppy. I was thinking about getting a dog, and I don't know why I'm getting emotional again about this. I thought about taking a dog for a long time. I wanted a dog. I wanted that responsibility. I wanted that company. I knew that it was scientifically proven all the benefits that means having a dog for the mental health. I thought about the breed I wanted. I thought about the gender I wanted. I thought about if I wanted an adult animal or a puppy. I thought about if I wanted an adopted dog or not adopted. And my decision was that I wanted a puppy. I wanted to go through all the raising up process, learning things together, teaching him things. And so I knew that I wanted a male. I knew that I wanted a German Shepherd, which is the beauty I have here. My beautiful, my wonderful German Shepherd male. His name is Logan. He is about to turn 1 year old. He's a birthday baby next week. I wanted this particular breed because they are very bonded to their owners. That was something that I needed. They are so loving. They're animals that like to be physically close to you, emotionally bonded to you. They are very caring. You can go with this huge dog outside in the middle of the night, and it's not that I'm living in a bad place, but nobody will even think about committing any crime against you with this beautiful animal by my side. And I knew that I wanted a big dog. I didn't want a small one. I decided that I didn't want adopt an animal from a shelter, but take a puppy from a breeder. And please don't hate me for this decision. Is a personal decision. I support absolutely the idea of adopting animals, and I hate the idea of somebody abandoning their animals even when things get hard. So yeah, when I took my puppy, he was 4 months old already, so he went through the socializing part. What they do not tell you is that when they are puppies, they have a difficult time. When they move their teeth, they start to bite everything. They go crazy. At least mine, he was like grabbing everyone by the hand, trying to make it. It has a name. When you are hunting someone and you have your victim or prey. In the case of a dog, they go to the neck. In the case of people, they grab the hand. So he was biting everybody. He was biting even my mom, who is the second in charge of him. He was behaving like terribly to her. She was absolutely upset and sad, and wow. He was very mean to me also. He was trying to prove his superiority, that he was taking his decision, he was doing what he wanted to do. He wanted to buy the furniture, he was buying the furniture, the floors. I have plaster walls at home. I do not have drywall. They are quite much harder than drywall walls. So he was biting all the how do you call them? I don't know, just forgot about the word right now. And he was fighting me. And while I was teaching him who's in charge here and that I am the boss, he was biting me. I had all my hands full of bruises. And it was a terrible, terrible time of our lives. It was like 3 terrible months in which he was like a crazy dog. I couldn't be with my family around him. I couldn't be around another dogs. I couldn't be around another people. I was searching for training desperately. I had very bad luck. 4 different trainers turned us down. So it was like, I'm not searching anymore by now. I will take my measures on my own, on my own terms. And he is very, very much calm now. He is right here, so that's why I'm looking down there all the time, and the sound you may hear is he's chewing the other half of his bowl. It's a special bowl to chew. And yeah, it was a terrible time in which I was feeling frustrated all the time. He ruined all my furniture, he ruined all my apartment. It's not my apartment, it's a rental. And I had that extra pressure that, oh my god, he's ruining somebody's apartment. Okay, right now it's mine, but I will have to take care of this. And right now we're doing much better. He's growing out of that terrible situation, and we are enjoying much more staying together. We are enjoying our walks. We can be with another dogs right now. We can be with another people right now, even kids, if we take a lot of care. He behaves like an angel with my mom again. He is not being a little monster that is biting her all the time and attacking her all the time. So yeah, this is my 3rd reason of being away of my YouTube channel. I wasn't able. Hey, you just moved my camera. Yeah, you did it. What is this? This is gross. Ugh. So I just didn't have time to exercise, to do yoga. I had a lot of stress from work, from my personal life, also all the frustration that I was getting with Logan. So I'm hoping to have enough time to edit all the process of my renovation and refurnishing my apartment, and to have you with me to follow our progress. Some things are already done, some other things are to come, and I'm doing it all by myself, because one of the things my psychiatrist said is that people who work a lot with their brain in their professional life, in order to be able to shut down, to disconnect, usually need some physical work. Something that you do without needing your brain to work, but your physical ability, your hands, your whatever. So I thought that sanding the floors and varnishing them and painting and assembling the the furniture that I'm buying it's a physical work, and something that is really making me happy in this terribly hard time for me, because I'm still in a very, very dark place. In part because of my work, it still didn't slow down. I'm still struggling a lot of my personal drama. I'm still grieving the loss that I have, and at least I'm starting to enjoy my puppy time, my doggo time. And what I want you to know clearly, that even in our worst moments, I never had any regrets, in part because I'm somebody who never feel regrets about anything, just because the way I am. But I never regretted to having him. It was a great decision, and he is a world to me. But of course, he is only a dog, and he does a lot. But I'm very happy. I'm very, very, very happy of having him, and very proud of having him. And I'm very proud he's not destroying everything already. And I'm very proud the smart he is, the curious he is, and the loving he is. He's so silly and so just like, oh, grab my belly. And he's very cute. He gives me a lot of company, and he takes me outside for the walk, something that I was missing a lot. Although sometimes I'm very tired and I feel I can't do it. We go outside and it feels good, and I don't feel tiredness somehow. So yeah, this is what I wanted to talk to you. I just want to share what I'm doing. And right now I'm gonna stop sharing any physical activity content, and I will, work out content, and I will post more videos about, well, my renovation and this kind of stuff. And I will just shut up right now. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you like the video, or don't. Subscribe to the channel if you want to know a little bit more about us, about the two of us, this crazy monster and I. And of course you can put all the questions you would like to put down below in the comment section, and I will try to answer them. And again, thank you so much for watching, guys. I see you in the next. Hey monster! Hey monster! Hey monster! Hey monster!